My first question will be regarding yesterday's, what many people believe, a landmark trilateral joint defense pact signed between Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. How significant this development is in your view?
Well, potentially it's very significant. And in the words of a prominent Saudi columnist who reflects the more hawkish side of Saudi thinking, he noted that the alliance provides Saudi Arabia with greater military capabilities. It represents 400 million people, 4 times the population of Iran, and oversees more than 1,400 kilometers of land borders with Iran. So it is significant. How significant it's going to be is a question of being put to the test. So you already have, as you probably well know, Pakistani troops near the border between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, but those troops are under orders not to intervene on the Yemeni side of the border. Essentially, this is an extension of the Pakistani-Saudi defense agreement that was signed last year, and the extension being that it includes Turkey. It remains to be seen what happens when a conflict erupts, not only Saudi Arabia, Yemen, but what happens if a conflict between India and Pakistan erupts. Is Saudi Arabia, who is India's, of which India is its second largest trading partner, is it going to, with $46 billion in trade, is it going to jeopardize that by coming to Pakistan's aid in a possible conflagration? And similarly, of course, Turkey and Pakistan, both with borders with Iran and both with relations with Iran, are going to be very cautious.
These are certainly very important questions, but publicly all 3 sides are insisting that this defense mechanism is not against any third country. Do you really believe this? Because some of the reactions that we saw from Iran, they are looking at very differently. One Iranian official really warned Saudi Arabia that if Riyadh thinks that by signing this piece of paper they can be spared from the Iranian retaliation, they are mistaken. They are insisting that if Saudis want to really change the nature of relationship with Iran, they need to change their overall regional strategy.
There's no doubt that Iran will view this as being an anti-Iranian alliance. I think the same is true for Israel, even though it may take a cautious attitude initially. Fact of the matter is that Saudi Arabia is embroiled with a conflict with Iran, not by Saudi Arabia's doing, to be fair, but by Iran's doing, which has attacked Saudi Arabia a number of times because of the U.S. bases in the kingdom, just as it has done with other Gulf states. It's engaged in a battle with the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. So, by definition, this cannot be divorced from what's happening across the region, and the fact that it's happening in that context. And it's part of a greater Saudi strategy. You also saw days before the announcement of the Pakistani-Saudi-Turkish pact, the formation of a maritime alliance, yes, to protect Saudi shipping in the Red Sea.
There is also, this agreement created a debate that whether this is an attempt by Gulf countries, particularly Saudi Arabia, to diversify its option when it comes to defending from any external aggression, because they believe that they cannot now trust the United States. So do you think that this new arrangement in any way can replace the overall U.S. security architecture in Gulf?
I don't think it's intended to do so. That's not the purpose of the exercise. First of all, the diversification of the Gulf and Saudi Arabia in particular diversification of its defense relationships has been something that has been going on for several years. The question about the reliance of the United States first came to the fore in 2019 when the Houthis attacked Saudi oil installations and for about a week knocked out almost half of the kingdom's oil production. And the response by the United States at the time wasn't by Donald Trump, was not our problem, it's a Saudi problem. They want help, they can pay for it. So there's long been a question of the reliability, particularly under Donald Trump. What that means is that there is accelerated diversification, that the future of the U.S. bases and troops in the region is not in question, but is going to be have to become more consultative and more conditional.
Also, all three countries have left the possibility of other Muslim countries joining this alliance. So do you think that in coming days and months, maybe other countries joining this newly formed bloc, or you can call it this new security architecture?
It's very well possible that you'll see initially potentially other Gulf states join, or other Middle Eastern states, and eventually other Muslim states. But I think also a lot will depend on whether this is a paper tiger, a political move, rather than a military move. And that still has to be proven.
And how far, in your view, this can affect or impact Pakistan's role as a mediator? Because so far during this conflict, despite having a defense pact with Saudi Arabia, Pakistan somehow the other navigated its relationship quite successfully between Iran and Saudi Arabia. But after signing this trilateral agreement, do you think that Pakistan can still maintain that same level of neutrality?
Well, Iran has been careful to differentiate already since last year between Pakistan's military relationships with Saudi and its role as a mediator. If that were really going to be a breaking point, we would have seen that already last year after the signing of the Saudi-Pakistani agreement. That didn't happen, and Pakistan continued to be a trusted mediator. There's no reason to assume that this really makes it any different, although this is, of course, a much more powerful alliance with the addition of Turkey than the Saudi-Pakistani one was. Not to say that it wasn't a powerful alliance, but this is a more powerful one. Whether or not the Iranians see that as a qualitative difference that undermines Pakistan's role, I think remains to be seen. My gut feeling is that it won't at this point.
Well, before we wrap up our discussion, one final question about the overall situation when it comes to Iran-US conflict. We already been getting reports that Iran and Oman are quite close to signing some kind of arrangement or temporary arrangement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. How optimistic you are that if there is certainly an agreement on the Strait of Hormuz, that can pave the way for a potential diplomatic solution between Iran and the United States?
I think it's going to let me put it differently. Iran and Oman can decide whatever they want. Without the United States, meaning a lifting of the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports, and a lifting of the sanctions on Iranian oil exports, I don't think it's going to make a difference on the ground.
Dr. James Dorsey, many thanks indeed for joining us.